carry the boats and the logs, 'cause they're turning them old frogs gay. Or maybe they're born this way. Pull up a chair, sit right there, brush your teeth and comb your hair, 'cause they're turning them old frogs gay.
What's up? What's missing?
Where's Jopher the Gopher?
Jopher the Gopher. What happened to him? My little brother, Jopher the Gopher, also known as Joey, also known as Jopher Bowen. Joey can't make it today. He has
He's in
issue.
He's in the Ukraine.
Joey he's fighting for the Ukraine. He's actually a medical supporter.
He's in the Donbass region doing hybrid medical support and a stand-up tour for both troops on both sides. He's going to end the war.
Yeah, I heard he's singing, songwriting, dancing, producing over there. So we're hoping it's going to be a ceasefire.
He's doing Sugar Ray covers in both Ukrainian and Russian.
I heard he's been doing the worm a lot over there as well. They're calling it in the newspapers, "Worm the drones away." Actually,
And he flew over a cotton candy machine, and he's doing red and yellow cotton candy for the Russian troops, and black and yellow. What's the blue and
yellow.
blue and white
Black.
and red, and SWAT. They're trading cotton candy.
Cotton candy, and then putting it in water and watching it disappear in front of their eyes for a magic show. He's doing a lot of things.
Sometimes the frogs turn into toads. You know.
Toad's stuck in VCRs, as Pod 3 talks about, or maybe Pod 4. Nice day out. I wish we could turn this camera around, really look at the street.
Beautiful day in Mission Viejo yet again. Heat wave kind of came and went.
Heat wave came and went.
Should be a nice cool weekend.
I barely survived.
Was it hot?
It doesn't just get hot on Jinetes on this street. Whoops, just blew out the street name. Great. ISIS.
Hellfire.
Freaking, what's that? Oh, man, I can't think of the other one. Starts with a T. Gets sent off ships. Tommy? No. That's right. I can't remember. Yeah, this street gets, if it's 90 degrees out, this street gets 100. In the winter, if it's 50 degrees at night, it gets 40 here. If it's windy, this street becomes a hurricane. This street brings in all the bad, none of the good, but with that, brings in good.
It's a climate vortex here.
Yeah. It makes you change, and a quote that I've been saying a lot recently is, changes make you grow, and growth makes you change, man.
Brought to you by Blue Chew.
Brought to you by Neurogum. Chew it.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those spiritual vortexes too. Like they say, like the Bermuda Triangle, Sedona, Arizona. Those regions are said to hold mystical properties.
Does that mean there's like no weather? First truck.
No, there's weather, but there's supposed to be weird, like Mount Shasta apparently too. It's supposed to be weird phenomenon, maybe portals to other dimensions.
Really?
Yeah.
Where is the Bermuda Triangle again? In the ocean, right?
I think it's Bermuda. The island of Bermuda is one point, and then there's two other kind of points, and that triangle is where planes disappear and go down. That's where maybe Amelia Earhart disappeared. A lot of UAP sightings.
Who's Amelia Earhart again? Why is it?
Amelia Earhart was a beautiful woman in aviator.
An aviator?
Yes, who probably in the, I don't know, 30s, 40s, attempted to cross the transatlantic in an airplane and was never to be seen again.
Attempted to cross it. Is she flying by herself?
Flying solo, yeah.
Oh, she crashed.
Yeah. But they never found any wreckage or, middle of the ocean.
Ocean's big, yeah.
In school, they put a big emphasis on, like, weird people. And Amelia Earhart, you feel like everybody, like, there was a whole chapter in their history books and stuff for some reason.
Yeah, you would know. Didn't you want to be a history teacher?
Yeah, teaching. There's still time.
Specifically history?
I think history, if I were to teach, yeah, definitely history. But, we got to reform the education system first. Funny thing is, McGraw-Hill, does that ring a bell?
No.
McGraw-Hill is the big main textbook manufacturer for all of
it does, yeah.
our youth.
Okay, yeah.
Every science book, every language arts book, like K through, I don't know, probably 12, mostly were McGraw-Hill books. And Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who mysteriously died off the back of a yacht somewhere, who was a most likely
CIA?
Mossad agent,
Mossad.
bought or inherited or somehow became in charge of McGraw-Hill. So it might have been like a large-scale psyop to, because they say history is just his story. And history was written by the winners, not so.
That could be the title.
It was kind of maybe an effort to corrupt the youth with false or biased information, and we were victims of it this whole time. It's very interesting. Look up Robert Maxwell, I believe was his name, and he owned McGraw-Hill, Ghislaine Maxwell's father.
Okay. Maybe a fun topic. No, I'm gonna go into that topic.
That's all I know about it.
No, I understand. I think I've actually heard that before. The winners make his story history.
Is that your quote?
That's now my quote. Man, I hope this isn't. Anyway, so it was slavery in history, right?
Yes.
Because we learned slavery, and
Yes.
it's usually. I can't remember when I scroll freaking YouTube or the news or whatever. I can't remember what I saw. It seems like people are saying. Are people saying there needs to be more truth about like what white people or what the world did to slaves, or there needs to be like, well, like let's take it easy, like it wasn't that bad. Like what are the books being taught? Because I have no idea, and I can't remember what people are like. I don't want
to give bad information, but I think in regards to slavery specifically,
the worst question to ask, but
I think when we are in, you learn about that like 5th, 6th grade probably, and even more so getting into high school. And I think maybe the critics would say that in this country, the youth is led to believe, because we're not educated on more worldviews, that we were the only country to do so, and that we're so horrible. I mean, I think the British had slaves long after we abolished it. I think we were one of the first countries in the modern world to abolish slavery under Lincoln. I could be wrong. And also something that's not talked about, and we'll have to fact check this, but I think the slaves that were sold to the slave traders that were then brought to this country, those slave traders were Africans. They were just of a more elite class, selling and trading their own people to the white man. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That could be wrong. But regardless, there's probably more horrific atrocities that we're not educated on, and on the other side, there's probably things that are way more emphasized than they should have been, as far as their gruesomeness. I don't know. Like we were always taught for some reason this country loves these kind of like almost like fairy tale or biblical traditions or little myths and stories rather of our like founding fathers and like colonial times. Like, oh, George Washington chopped down the cherry tree and then he could never tell a lie. And we love those little stories for some reason. Benjamin Franklin put a key on a kite and got electrocuted and then discovered electricity that way. Those kind of things, which who knows the actual historical truth of that. It's probably some guy in Belgium that found electricity whatever. But a big one that we're told is, for whatever reason, George Washington had wooden teeth. We're always told. You never heard that? It's like a little colloquialism, or that's not the right word, but like a little fairy tale-y type thing. I'm sure the listeners have heard this. George Washington had wooden teeth, When the truth is, he lost his teeth because nobody had dental hygiene, and probably at 40 your teeth just started falling out. And his mouth was filled with dentures made of slaves' teeth. Like, that's the truth, which is insane and terrible and, kind of.
Why would they say
horrific.
wooden teeth? Teeth are still white. Why would they say
I don't know.
wooden?
It's just
maybe he had such bad dental hygiene, his teeth turned freaking dark.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dark.
I don't know where the wooden thing came from, but that's something everybody's heard. But really, he had slaves' teeth, like his slaves' teeth, who had better teeth, were from younger, healthier people.
Pulled them out and put them in his.
And I don't know if they were implanted. I doubt they had that kind of medical knowledge, but like fit into dentures in his mouth. I think they had pretty terrible medical science up until like 30 years ago. Yeah. Like if you got like a bad splinter in the Civil War, they'd just cut your leg off.
That's insane. Yeah. I was watching you watch Righteous Gemstones?
I think of season or two. I haven't seen the newer stuff.
All right, I'm on season 4, and I think they're in World War I. No, oh my gosh, not World War I. I'm so freaking dumb. The freaking 1776 war, whatever.
Revolutionary War.
And they're showing, just people just legs chopped off, like no freaking drugs at all.
How did that?
I really go in my head and start thinking, what would I do if I was back there? Had my leg mangled through with a cannon,
musket
cannon, and then they have to start freaking cutting off my leg.
Bone saws, no anesthesia, in a field somewhere in Indiana or something.
Do?
And then
feel like?
And then, like most likely, that's going to buy you a week because you're going to get an infection and die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty crummy.
Oh, I can't imagine, dude. Speaking of, we're talking about history. We're talking about
this is the history
slave
episode.
Trade. I actually do remember when I was in school. I do remember actually being fascinated with history. It just seems like the thing about me is I data dump a lot. If I have to know it, I'll know so much about it and just data dump. So I don't retain that good of memory, as you guys could already tell by all the questions I ask. But when I do learn something at that moment, I know. Anyway,
do you read much?
I do.
Not too much.
I actually do. I read a lot, and I know a lot. I just have to keep rereading it, or else it will leave.
There's a great book that was introduced to me in college, and I think it's been kind of reframed as sort of like a communist sympathizer type book or an anti-American book in this wake of Trump and like America First and all that mentality. But it's by Howard Zinn called The People's History of the United States.
Yeah.
Did you read that?
We freaking had to write a.
Were we in the same class?
Essay on it in college.
Same class. So do you remember it?
And your now wife was in that class with us, and I filmed a part of my YouTube video in there.
Was Jopher the Gopher in that class?
Opening that book. I think Jopher the Gopher might have been in there.
What
as well.
YouTube video?
And I was writing my DJ Blutonic video.
Can we put that in?
We could put that in. I don't know if we could put the whole video.
Why not? It's your video.
Like, you want to put it in at the end? Or stop the podcast.
I think we should put it in right now.
Stop the podcast.
Who knows
right
how
now.
many viewers are going to make it to the end?
Stop.
Lord knows without Jopher the Gopher, we're tanking
Yeah,
this.
all right,
We're going
so-
Amelia Earhart right now.
All right, so I guess we're going to stop the pod. We'll keep it so where it's in the screen and you guys can see what we're talking about, but you will see me do a... You'll see something happen.
A throwback to Dante in his to show the fans that his creative ventures and his cyber galactic journey has been going on long before this new age post enlistment Dante.
Yeah.
This is an old school throwback.
Yeah, I remember being a new
Well, when's
guy.
the video going in? Do we have to be silent the whole time?
No.
Okay. Now.
Oh, yeah. That's actually a...
So now the video's over? If they watched it?
So, yeah, now the video's over, even though I didn't know we were going to do it then. But, yeah, that was a video.
Added 6 hours of editing for
Yeah,
you?
that could be a lot of editing time. We'll see.
Maybe
Should be
it's
fine,
in.
though.
Maybe it's in.
I think it's in. I think it's in right now.
Okay.
You guys have probably already watched it. You guys are at your screens right now saying, it's in, we saw it already.
Dante, when searching for a career path, before finding the community, the teams, the brotherhood,
Long-lived.
he thought perhaps he would be a DJ. And
Still
he was a DJ. and he
One pancake.
went by the name as seen in the video DJ
Double D.
DJ
Blue Tonic.
DD Blue Tonic, just Blue Tonic sometimes. And he coated himself in probably not skin safe acrylic paint, shaved his whole head, and just let a USB ride on an edit. And DJ
Armpits were shaved as well.
Blue
Blue contacts in.
contact.
Hurt like hell.
And he became very popular in the South OC community. Got commissioned actually for a few graduation parties.
Yeah, I just want to give a huge, massive appreciation shout out to Jillian Jackson and her family.
Her dad,
and
especially
her
for the $300
for the $150 I made off of DJing. Her sisters, I believe, going away to college party. And You know what? That's when you make it big like that. When you're already getting high paying gigs off your first DJ performance,
You
it
think
gets
the
your head a
world's your
little
oyster.
bit. Yeah, and then you get to your first gig, you got cash in your freaking back pocket. Your face is ball blue. Your dad's setting up your equipment because you don't know jack crap. I think you got one of your boys with you, maybe your brother. I can't remember if Joey was there.
Wait, I was there.
You were there. Yeah. Now I'm understanding the DJ lifestyle because I'm like, oh, I can't do this alone. I need my
posse.
my posse with me. I need them to support me in my tunes.
Your goon.
Yeah, my goon squad. And I would make a 3-hour long set of of songs going in and out, and I had no idea how to mix or DJ, and I would just hit play. And now this is at my first gig, first paid gig, and all these girls are coming up to me
Requests.
in the daytime
was
and requesting songs, and they're like, play this, and I'm like, no requests. Literally no requests.
And what
Like they're eating cake and like having a calm, and I'm supposed to like
it was a tea party.
and I'm playing like the loudest Skrillex possible.
Brusco.
And I can't stop it.
Bass nectar.
And there's a picture of me holding up my freaking monies with my blue contacts in. I'll put that in the screen right now, actually. It's pretty nuts. But that was my last paid gig.
So anyways,
yeah.
I forgot that we were both introduced to that book together. But I think each chapter is kind of a different story that there's a general consensus on, and then his interpretation or his deeper dive into the truth of it. And it makes America's actions in all of those different situations look probably, I think, a lot worse. Because
it was basically it was all America Bad type book.
It was an America Bad book, but I think it was all historical.
That's when I went, dude, this is going to be crazy how these things, it's like my brain, I feel like I used to have a good memory. Now I don't. Don't know if it's TBI. Don't know if it's not drinking anymore.
TBI.
Oh, it's, dissociation. But no, I just remember me when we read that book and it was in college and I just didn't care about politics. But now it's like we're 19, 20, 21. And I'm like, ooh, what's the news? Let's put on CNN and Fox and compare how they talk. Like I started doing that around 2021.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think
we read
the world did.
We read that book in college, and then I'm just like, wow, I'm like, dang, this is all we're learning, and they really don't like America. This book really is bashing America. And I just didn't know. I didn't know anything. I was ignorant, and then I remember going to my ex-wife's, or what do you call it? Mom and dad, so.
In-laws.
Ex-in-laws. And we were dating at the time, and I go to them. They're like, what? I think they're like, what are you reading, Dante? Or something like that. And I think I was just like, yeah, we're reading this book. And I'm just like, yeah, I didn't really know we went to war with Iraq because of oil. Like, I think that was like, I think I said that, or like my ex at the time, M-Dog, told them that. And then they like texted me or like let me know. They're like, Dante, like we didn't go because of oil. And they were like very concerned that like I was being taught.
We went because they hated our freedom.
Yeah. And I was like, I can't remember exactly what they said, and I'm like, oh wow, I'm like, I didn't realize there was two massively different viewpoints on this whole thing.
Yeah, we were
I'm just like, oh, I have a book.
The Iraq War was right.
Cool.
Iraq War was right before the cusp of widespread information sharing via the internet. So it was the last war, and it lasted so long that the information sharing came out still during it. It was a 20-year war. Biden finally pulled out. Eventually, Iraq led into Afghanistan. I guess were those two separate wars, or was it all?
It was first Afghanistan, to my knowledge, and then Afghanistan went into Iraq
because the war machine started rolling. But
Afghanistan if I remember correctly, Afghanistan was doing quite well because they had just like spec op guys and like Delta and Team 6 guys kind of doing their thing in there and like going after like high value targets. And then obviously once like big military starts coming in and like wanting to like be a part of it, or like then Iraq happens and Big
Yeah, and
military
we
comes
were-
in. Then it's just like, all right, how do we stay here and how do we make more bases and how it's like almost like how do we not win?
colonize the Middle East and keep
Yeah.
the funding and the military contracts for Boeing and everything else going too.
Yeah, it's pretty
That
wild.
all of the war hawks were on the boards of those companies. No bid contracts to rebuild. You know, Halliburton, which was Dick Cheney's company, was the only company that got the contract to rebuild all the destruction Dick Cheney created in that country. You know,
it's called again KBR, KPR.
I don't know
can't
what
remember the
that
name.
is.
You see it everywhere.
And there was like U.S. troops guarding poppy fields in Afghanistan, which is the largest suppliers. You know, poppy you make heroin out of.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Hey, speaking of, just to freaking just kind of wheelchair.
I'm sounding like Howard Zinn over here.
Yeah, Howard Zynergies. Howard Zinn, dude.
Lord forgive me for I have Zinn.
Yeah, he's like the godfather to all the freaking lib celebrities. Like I think he was like Matt Damon's neighbor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think
wow.
He's like
Their guru?
their guru back in the day.
Huh.
But anywho, speaking of just wheelchair everything back in together.
Wheelchair?
Yeah. Everything's in a circle. I don't know. I just made it up. Speaking of the slave trade, speaking of, the community,
Jopher would be having a connection.
Jopher-
This app we're going.
Gopher Bowen would be literally, he'd be the little fox. Bringing it back. Do you see the thing about the I guess the seal or two seals getting kicked out possibly for racist memes?
You sent me a video, but I did not watch the video.
You
I
didn't watch the damn
apologize. I
video?
didn't click it yet.
Damn.
So two seals that are currently.
I don't know if it's two. I think it's more than one. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's two.
And they're sending. They're sending. Who got a hold of their thread? Somebody turned them in or something.
I guess through what I haven't read everything, so sorry if I get any of this completely wrong. If anyone watches this, I need to read more. But what
Darbonic.
Darbonic. Now he's out. Big shout out to Darbonic. He's out of the military. He can do whatever he wants now. I guess they're on. You're on a Signal group chat for everything.
Hegseth style.
Hegseth style. Headseth style. And for years, they're sending. What you do is, your group chats. If they're not talking about work or upcoming trips, they turn into just a meme
farm,
meme city, and I have to like quiet it, and it's just like it gets fun for a little. It's a meme farm for sure.
People saying the worst possible things that they can to each other. In pursuit of comedy, which is what group chats are.
This has been happening since like 2022, and I supposedly that this guy has filed complaints against this sort of behavior that I guess guys were doing. I don't know if it was specifically about the group chat or if it was about other things. The word is that he was not good. He failed like JTAC school.
So he was salty.
I mean, I failed a school before, so it's like, okay, you failed school, all right, but I guess he did more things that were just like, I guess he was out of shape. He couldn't pass like the Navy qual physical standard, which is completely easy. He had a lot of things adding up, supposedly. And he was an officer, which officers are held. I mean, every SEAL is held to a high standard, but officers are almost like held to even more. Anywho, all that being said, I guess they were doing some crazy ass racist memes about him. I haven't figured out if he was in the chat.
Is he an Asian guy, black guy?
He's black.
Okay.
So it's not like we're doing like Italian guap. What's it called? The WAP. WAP memes. They're doing like the worst you could possibly do.
Okay.
It's not chill, not good. So I don't know if he was in the group chat and he was seeing it, or if he was out of it and he's maybe part of another platoon or something, and he's getting word that like, hey, these guys are making things. I haven't looked that deep into it. I think if he's in the group chat, I would love to see his response, because if his responses were like, oh man, like I can roll with the punches, you guys are crazy, and he's sending back, bad memes about like
white
Mexicans
guys.
Or white guy, like whatever. It's never going to be as bad as like sending a racist black meme, but it's like if he's rolling with the punches and like pretending it's not bothering him,
or if he said please
and then
stop.
going back and like laughing, it's like, it's still not my style. I'm not a person that would do that. I don't think it's funny to do that with, especially a black friend. It'd just be freaking weird. It's like, why am I doing that? But if he's not saying anything and he's like kind of like incentivizing it, like, hey, keep it coming, guys, which I doubt he said.
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't really see a problem.
Yeah.
I think he obviously has a massive problem, which I can imagine every black person would have. And a lot of the people out there are being like, yeah, they should have like beat their ass and everything. Part of me is just like, I don't know, man. Like, people do a lot of things, and I mean, fighting, as cool as it sounds, it's like, stop making racist memes about me. I beat you up. It's like,
That's not going to, yeah.
that doesn't really, I mean, a lot of like the
Solve
old
anything.
school YouTube channels are saying that. It's like, beat his ass, man. It's like, what if he gets his ass kicked? You know what I mean? That it's like,
then it's a hate
you're
crime.
even worse.
Yeah.
You got your ass beat. It's the guys that are making racist memes that probably 100% shouldn't be doing that, because they should just know better to not do that.
So are they getting dishonorably discharged or something?
Here's the fun part, is that this is why I don't know. I would like to know if he was in the group chat. I would want to know if he was, being all like buddy with
This
them.
is a headline,
And
like you can read into this?
Yeah.
Or it's insider
Yeah,
info?
I don't know how he was responding to these memes. If he was being like, please guys stop, this is really bad, hell yeah. If he was like, keep it coming, guys, this is hilarious, I'm going to send them back to you, then it's like, whoa, like, he's saying he doesn't mind. Still, it's wrong. Anyway, I guess what he said, he got kicked out. I guess he got kicked out or something.
For tattling.
No, he got kicked out for like performance issues.
Oh.
Probably being written up for failing and not meeting the standard, like years later. So like 2 years later. Then I think to get reinstated, he blamed the reason he got kicked out on the trauma from what happened in the group chats, and his
head wasn't right, and
his head wasn't right, and all that, and like I was facing discrimination
Yeah.
in group chats, and then he blamed it on that, and that's like,
could be an opportunist.
that's
I don't know.
I mean, so I look at it two ways. Part of me, can you blame your performance on being bummed out about racist memes and get kicked out? On a normal job, sure. For being a SEAL, it's like, yeah, no.
You're
It's
supposed
like
to, what if you're captured and tortured?
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be
Mentally
living
strong.
up to a gnarly high mental
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah.
I mean, people's wives, kids, parents, whatever, people die in training and all the time, or on deployment, and you get to fly home for what, a week, go see them, and then come back home. Or
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying, like, yeah, you need to have a little bit of mental resilience.
Memes will get you in trouble.
Memes, the meme farms. I'm not saying God forbid there's not. I mean, there is a picture for. There's a damning picture of me for sure that I did when I was young that would get me severely canceled.
Don't say that.
As
It's
I'm
going to
talking
get looked
about
up
this.
eventually.
I know. But I was ignorant and didn't know what it was. But yeah, racist memes, not my.
We're going to put the
not my
picture in
thing.
here.
Yeah, we're actually going to put the picture in here. Wait,
what-
hold on. I was about to say one last thing. Anyway, he gets reinstated. Now they're talking about kicking the SEALs out, which I think they haven't. I think they just might be giving him like a slap on the wrist. Don't do it again.
Sounds messy.
And I always look at. There's this famous Black SEAL. He was like the 9th SEAL officer ever, 6th or 9th, I can't remember, something like that.
Googans?
Jake Rueg or whatever, and he talks about it.
Wait, was Goggins a SEAL?
Yeah,
Okay.
but he's way later.
Yeah. I
And
wasn't
he
sure if
talks
he was
about it.
Green Beret or something.
And he was like, yeah, those SEALs should be kicked out for sure. And then a bunch of other people were like, they should be kicked out. It's like, I mean, yeah, I guess if you're doing that, be kicked out. And I would almost be like, who's like the officer who were like the head shed people in that group chat, like allowing that insane of a.
Yeah,
of
you can't
memes
have
to
that.
come out.
You should be kicked out probably. Those are the people you're supposed to defend and have their back. And if you're dehumanizing them and
Yeah.
stuff like that, how can you count on them to lead a...
I always want to know though, because there's always the other person's story. There always is the 20 other people that are in that group chat story.
History is
and
his
what
story.
goes on in the platoon space or platoon room, and I would just love to know what was really going down. How were the memes like sent? Why were they sent? Was it out of the blue? Was it like
targeted.
Was the dude okay with it? And was he saying like, was he
thumbs
firing
ups.
back? Exactly. And then I doubt that happened, but I will really want to know.
Yeah,
'Cause
interesting.
if that did happen, I don't think
You don't know anybody in that team or anything?
It was on the East Coast,
Oh.
and I'm not like a damn freaking veteran journalist over here texting people like, "What happened?"
Yeah,
man?"
yeah. Interesting. Maybe Darby will fill us in.
But yeah, maybe Darby last.
He's
Probably
got
wouldn't
intel.
know anything. He probably knows less
Or
about
Bill.
what's going on. Shouldn't have said his name. Now he's freaking.
I didn't say last name.
He's getting outcasted.
Well, in the UK, they're putting people in jail for memes, and that's
Hey,
not
what's up?
just that's
What's
not
up,
just
Bill?
like
I know you're
a,
watching this Platoon Space right now, man.
that's not like a right wing talking point or anything. Like I think people really are getting imprisoned and getting their phones, like their access to cell phones, taken away for like I don't think that bad of memes criticizing the police or the royal family or they have a huge migration
Some people
immigration thing going on over there, and they're not only memes but like praying.
Yeah, I saw people in Britain freaking arresting the Christians.
Praying,
Preaching the word.
praying, yeah, preaching, trying to do like street preaching, getting told they
Insane.
can't do it and stuff. And I guess there's a story of a guy that was standing near some sort of pro-Palestine protest or something, and he was praying, but the police determined he was praying, like he was like doing it in his head. Like he literally got arrested for a thought crime. And that's not good. UK's got some trouble, I think. And I just saw today that there's this big trial that started. The video's insane. First of all, British police, I'm sure there's some like badasses, I would hope, British Royal Navies. They've got good special forces and
Special forces are insane.
at the top, but the police, I think they don't have guns like this. It's very rare to find a gun.
Maybe it's frowned upon
in the UK
to be a
They
policeman in the UK.
They took all of their guns. They have a huge knife crime epidemic where you can't even, like a normal pocket knife we could go buy at Big Five right now, you're like sentenced to 5 years for. Because when they took the guns away, they're still crime. They're still
attacks.
gang members. So they're just knifing each other. And there's guys with like cool knife collections that are getting like their houses raided because they're at like a knife collector, like an old timer that just likes blades. And anyways, there's a 91-year-old man in like a convalescent home, like a old folks home, sitting in a chair, and he had the story I read and what it looks like in the video is a butter knife, like from the cafeteria. Okay. And he's just sitting in a chair, probably Alzheimer'd out or dementia'd out. And there's two cops, the British cops. They've got like orange vests on. They got their weird like horse riding helmets. They're hard to take serious. They're constables. They're like blowing whistles at the traffic and just, they don't look, our police are probably way too militarized with like 15 different blades and tasers and look like the Terminator. But on the other hand, the British cops, they don't like demand your authority, I don't think. And I think there's a lot of like crossing guard looking cops. Older people that do not look like they're in very good shape. I don't know. I'm not here to bash on England, but the guy sitting in a chair probably doesn't even look like he could get up. He's like an overweight 90-year-old man, and he's refusing to put this butter knife down. And so, honestly, a high school girl could probably have grabbed it out of his hand without getting hurt. You have to analyze the situation. Yeah. And look at how old he is. Look at your setting. Look at what the immediate threat is. How much can that do harm to you? And figure something out. And they pepper sprayed him like point blank and then tased him. And he fell or something, was hospitalized, and then got COVID in the hospital and died like a week later. And I guess
There's video of it?
there's like body cam. It's pretty crazy to me that they could have such poor training or be so entitled to think that was the right move to do that to this old guy who's out of his mind. My grandparents both got dementia in their later years, and I could totally see one of them not knowing what's going on. You know, Jopher the Gopher worked in an Alzheimer's home. When you get that age, you don't know anything. Anybody could be a threat. You don't know who anybody is. You can't remember anybody. You're probably terrified. It's super sad. And they pepper sprayed this old guy and then tased him, and then he got in the hospital and died. He was already 91, but it's probably somebody's dad, somebody's granddad, you know.
Stress on the body, yeah.
But those cops are on trial right now, which I guess is...
I mean, they should be on trial. They should be, I wouldn't say on trial.
But you got to think...
The fact that he died is probably the reason why they're on trial.
Yeah, yeah.
If he didn't
but
die,
even if he didn't, they probably would have sued them.
Probably not be cops.
Yeah. But you got to think in their minds, too, probably 80% of their safety training and the thing that they're most paranoid, you know, our cops here are worried about getting hit with the blicky, you know, with the switch, with the guns. And they're probably terrified of knives, those cops, because that's what's the most immediate threat, and there's people being slashed all the time over there. So they see a knife, and they're like resorting to their knife training. Anybody has a knife, you do this, you do this. But it was just like the situation is literally, it's like the knife he's using to put some freaking margarine on his English muffin. I don't know.
On his English muffin, on his British muffin. Yeah, it gets me so bummed out. And it's like I have this thing about like anger, bummed out, and then also I try to like side for the person who did the wrong thing.
Yeah, they're probably not
cops.
bad people. They just are subject to bad training.
I just try to think. I'm just like, is it bad training, or is it just stupid training? Like, hey, you know what? If they have knife here, you're allowed to do this level of force no matter what.
Stupid training and probably hiring not qualified people, because I think the English people overall, when I say the English are like arresting people for memes, it's not representative of the English population. The English are strong, funny, like patriotic people that probably wholeheartedly are against that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So probably none of them want to be cops. And the people that are becoming cops are like bootlicking, authoritarian, non-patriotic. I don't know.
No,
that's a bad thing to say. I don't know.
I don't think anyone.
I think since
a cop in any country is non. I think most people
they're
they're
patriotic, but they're probably not favored by their countrymen. You know, just like the George Floyd thing here, every cop became
enemy number one.
When it's like, these are the people you're going to call when your, you know, door gets kicked in at 3 a.m. and you're going to be crying.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. I think you have bad apples that ruin it for everybody. Just same thing happens with SEALs, any special force guys. There's bad people that do stupid things that ruin it.
Like the documentary The Line. Is that what it was called?
The Line? Yeah, I think it was. Eddie Gallagher. That's insane. I still didn't even know. I've watched so many things because I don't know him. And we had like a debrief about it after it kind of happened. And I think wait, what were we saying before this? Oh, the knife thing, really quick. With the cops, it's like the George Floyd thing happens, and he's like that one cop that is just like, I think they're so numb to how much shitty people they see every day. It's they like lose sight of like their purpose of what they're supposed to be doing. You probably
lose perspective of reality too,
it's
because
just like you deal with so many shitbags.
It's not even for sure. Every single person, even you or me, who, you know, we could view ourselves as good people, if we get pulled over for texting and driving, the first thing we're going to do is lie and say, no, I was, you know, I was fixing my map, or something like that, like little lies. Now extrapolate that on a large scale. Every single person every cop is talking to every single day is lying to them about no matter what.
They're seeing the worst in people, whether you're a good or bad person. Yeah. They're seeing the worst.
Yeah.
If not, trying to someone cussing at them or trying to kill them.
Have you ever seen that it was like maybe a year ago, or
they should have mandatory breaks. It's like, all right, you're caught for 6 months, mandatory month off. 6 months.
Yeah.
So it was like maybe deployments.
Mental health breaks, deployments.
Maybe,
yeah.
You know what? Hey, let's talk to the community. Let's get me hired as mayor in Orange County. The cops here, we're going to be doing deployment styles.
Like a school teacher. You get the summer off.
We're going to be doing workups. We're going to be training. And then we're going to be chilling for a few months. And then we're going to be deploying into frickin' Mission Viejo, Biatch. We're doing our deployment. And then we come home in 6 months. And then we repeat.
And I want to highlight Officer Norman on Instagram. You ever seen Officer Norman?
No.
Great cop down in Louisiana or Alabama, somewhere there. He's been on the IG for a long time. Just a real shining star of a police officer.
Keep talking.
The community loves him. Everybody knows him. The kids come running up to his car. He knows everybody's names. He's the shining example of what good policing looks like. And obviously, you can't be that happy-go-lucky guy every moment. You have to do your job as well. But shout out Officer Norman.
Shout out Officer Norman.
Have you ever seen that video? It was like a year or so ago in LA. Dash cam of a squad car at night that pulls up behind a car they're attempting to pull over, and the car just stops in the middle of the road. And the guy's radioing in or something, and then they get hit with like a fully automatic assault rifle. I think they lived, but it comes out the back window. The back window of like this sedan explodes, and he's on the radio driving, and he's like, I don't know what because you don't come across that every day. He's like, I don't know what they hit me with. I don't know what that was. What the hell was that, dude? Talking to his partner. It's horrifying. It's like a fully automatic, like 60 round burst of gunfire that whoever these criminals were had. I don't know if they got away or what, but it's like, that's the kind of stuff you're dealing with. Try and do that job and go home.
It's different. It's different if you're a cop in a violent city versus a cop in freaking Orange County. And not in the nice parts of Orange County, it's like you're either like in deployment in like freaking Ramadi 2006 or 7, or you're in Abu Dhabi deployment 2021. Yeah. There's a different mindset you, as a cop, you're probably in all the time. And depending on your environment, you should probably be working as you are as a military would. So on deployments, time off, better training, rather than like, oh, we're going to be in Abu Dhabi for 6 months. Yeah. It's like totally different two mindsets. So anyway.
Is there a new Bin Laden documentary out? Have you heard of that? I think that
on Netflix.
I think there's a new Bin Laden documentary that's supposed to be pretty good.
Hell yeah, I'll freaking watch it.
Yeah.
I just finished the Liver King one. Did you watch that?
On Netflix?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Is he in it?
Liver King's in the Liver. Is Osama bin Laden in the Liver King documentary?
Is it about Liver King? Is it like a slam on Liver King, or is he talking and telling his case?
I don't even know if it's a slam. I could not tell. It's because like it seems like they planned on this, like shot it. They probably had batch content they were filming, but they seemed like they had filmed it in the past, like knowing he was going to be making this documentary, which was kind of weird. He goes through his past, goes through everything, how he became famous. He went to his marketing agency, how they saw they could make him money in millions of dollars. Then it goes into him getting caught for steroids. Then it goes like all.
Of course, but of course, you have to be a moron.
And then
everything.
He starts to blame it on like, well, I didn't have parents, so I was bullied, and I had no self-esteem, and
cut to more
making the tenants.
Cut to his wife baby feeding him sturgeon eggs.
More the eggs, and then it goes into him like being like a con artist, like since he was a kid. Like he would print money.
So it was just another scam.
He'd work at he was a kid in high school, worked at a GNC, started taking receipts. I mean, honestly, I probably would have freaking done this if I was that age working at GNC. So I can't really. I don't think it's like that crazy. When you're a kid, I was stealing at 16, doing weird, stupid things. But anyway, he started printing money. So he would like take these bottles, fill out receipts, go return them at another GNC, get money. Then he started printing money, and it worked. Then he started making this other weird scam, and he seemed like he was like a good scam guy, like a good con artist. So I think his whole Liver King thing is, even though he was trying to help people, was a big con.
If he just would have
Eating liver
been transparent about the steroid use, he would still be in the good graces of
He
the internet.
basically conned the carnivore diet to where it's just eat more meat. You don't have to freaking eat a liver. You don't have to do this and that. It's just eat more meat, live a healthy lifestyle, which are his freaking primal tenets. Can't curse anymore. Got demonetized last video because I think too many F-bombs came out. So we're learning on how to do these.
I'll never forget there was a video of him on a desk in the middle of a huge yard on a laptop, and he had a 800-foot power cord ran, and he was saying how if I have to get work done, I'm going to be grounding. I got my shoes off. They're in the grass. I'm in the sun. I'm like, bro, you're on a laptop. You're a bot just like everyone else. Don't pretend like this is, you're better than everyone because you thought to sit outside with your laptop. That's not a primal tenet.
Oh, you'd love this scene. If you love that, you'd love this scene then when in the show they as a family, they're being filmed, by the way, obviously. As a family, they go kill a bison. I think it was shot because it's dead. It's dying. They didn't kill it. And he just gets a knife and starts cutting his throat. But they don't really show that part as much. They show a quick clip, and then they're just looking at it. He's like, "Brother, you were a family. You're a brother. You're a husband. You're a family man." And it was
talking to
really
the dead
awkward.
bison.
As his kids and wife are watching him. It's really awkward. You can tell it's they're doing a damn skit, even though he's pretending to be serious. Maybe that's just the way he is. Anyway, they start cutting open. They eat his raw organs, and he's like, "The liver." And then during the video,
bear hat on.
I can't remember, but during the video, he's just just remember, put the phones down. Put the phones down. It's like you're filming this right now.
Yeah.
Of you worshiping this freaking moose.
So what's his march called? What is that video you just posted? Did you recreate one of his things?
Oh, the liver. I did it last year. I'm realizing I'm the opposite. I think I did the opposite of Liver King, which is maybe just as worse. Just where it's he was spreading information, positive fitness information, but lying about steroids, to where I was spreading positive information and lying about drinking so much. So it's I was doing the opposite. I was losing money and looking worse, but trying to spread the good word,
So what was the march?
Oh, yeah. He does this thing where I did it last year, which I was also hungover as all hell. But
yeah, you look rough.
I was looking pretty bad. And clearly when I did the video last year and put it out, I don't think anyone knew I was severely hungover, which I was every day. Anyway, it's 20 pounds. I only had 6 pounds around your ankles. I'm sure that would make it a lot worse.
You did 6 on each and he did 20 on each?
Yeah, he does 20. You have to buy his.
Yeah.
I don't think they make 20s.
20-pound ankle
I wasn't
weights.
about to go buy it. I'm I think I
You
have
gotta strap 6s all the way up to your knees.
Yeah. I'm okay. I get it. All right. I'll add
Okay.
5 minutes to my time.
Okay. How heavy of a weight vest?
Weight vest is 70 pounds. So I have a 20 and a 50. So I just put 2 of them on top of each other. The sled, you're pulling 125 pounds. The sled thing's confusing because you look online, Liver King Barbarian March. It's could I do a 5-pound sled with 125 pounds on it? Or is it the huge rogue sled with 120? Because that sled weighs 100 pounds.
Okay, so you're doing 225 pull?
So I just put a 25-pound plate on.
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
That's the weight. So I'm
what did his sled look like?
I don't know the weight.
Little dinky one?
I don't know. I've seen people do that challenge.
Okay. And how long is the march? How far do you go?
And big sleds.
How far?
You go a mile.
A mile?
And you're carrying 70-pound kettlebells.
In each hand?
In each hand. And I only have 62s. So it's
So
like, all right.
62-pound kettlebells in each hand, 18 pounds around your feet, and a 125-pound sled you're pulling. And a 70-pound weight
pounds,
vest.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Also, I could only put it around my waist. I think he uses, or people who use the thing that's on your shoulder to really drive.
You're doing a rubber band
I was
around
doing
your
a rubber
waist.
band around my stomach. I don't know if that's worse. And it would pull
On
and give. So,
asphalt.
yeah.
Yeah, it had a rebound to it.
I don't know whether that helped me or hurt me, but I don't know. But anyway, I did it, and yeah. That was my first video.
Liver King should have to do
my
the
first
Blue
legit
Tonic
video.
March.
Yeah, that was my first legit video. I was like, all right, I want to do
Well,
a
I think the
challenge.
video we showed the fans was your first legit video.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's
no,
right.
your first legit video. We don't have to put this one in unless you want to. It would be Brown Gold is.
Ooh, yeah, that channel is on my... Yeah, it's on old M-Dog's channel. It's not... Ex-wife's channel. So
Yeah,
it's on
screen
there.
record
That
it.
was my first... yeah, I could screen record it.
Brown
But then
Gold
if
is
it pops off,
falling off
You
of
can copyright it.
falling off of the.
milk is brown, white.
No, what was
white
the
gold? White gold.
no when you fell off the boat? What was the boat called?
Oh, the some fun.
The Some Fun out of Dana Point.
That was my second video.
Faking a man overboard in marine biology class,
Yeah.
giving Mert Hill, shout out Mert, the teacher, a heart attack, allowing him to yell man overboard for the first and last time in his career that he was probably dreaming of doing his whole life.
Fell off a boat, baby. I think that's on Ant's YouTube channel.
And when you watch that video, if you rewatch it, you see the salty dock worker guys.
So
they
mad.
they knew that you
Is that
were
your first man
just
overboard?
a dingbat.
Thrown up, huh?
Yeah,
You're throwing up, huh?
yeah, they
And then the
knew.
last one was like,
They knew
and
it was
it made me
fake.
flip, and I was like,
So yeah, that should give, for any freaking, special force guy out there, SEAL guy, they're like, oh man, became a SEAL just to like, now you think it's okay to go and make content. And clearly at a young age, I was
Had a
wanting
thirst
and
for the
had
web.
a thirst for, I was making content as a kid. I would make movies. I was being 10 years old, had camcorders, make comedy, horror movies, rollerblading
edits.
movies, edits all day, editing all day, surfing. So I clearly had this thing. I was already doing this.
Do
And
we
I
think,
couldn't do it as I was?
to pivot here, in the extreme sports world, is there a space for rollerblading? Do you think it goes off into kind of obscurity like it sort of has? Or do you think we see a rollerblading aggressive inline resurgence at any point?
It's funny you asked that because one of my first videos I wanted to make fitness related
On
/
rollerblades?
like maybe tie in some like SEAL thing was rollerblading. If that makes any sense. Like a funny video / serious. Yeah, I think it could be. Yeah,
It could come back.
maybe. So I know what's coming back for the past couple years, being in and out of the dating profiles, is rollerblading.
Like as a hobby.
Girls seem to like to do it. I mean, I literally did it aggressively for a long time, but I realized people they get stoked on rollerblading
Yeah, but there's a difference between doing it on the boardwalk at the
and
beach
aggressively
and
sending
aggressively hitting porn stars and
it. X's, unities,
millionaires.
soul grinds,
Soul grinds.
millionaires, that totally different.
Because it was,
I don't know.
it probably peaked at the millennium. There was full video games developed just around rollerblading.
It's awesome. The style, dude. The style was insane. Just
Yeah, rollerblading is
baggy
cool.
Sweatpants, dude.
Yeah,
Loved it so much.
it is cool.
Going fast as hell, jumping 10 stairs, grinding 20 stairs.
But skateboarding just kind of overshadowed it with the cool factor.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like scooter kids are still villainized at skate parks and stuff, despite doing like pretty insane stuff.
Absolutely.
Aggressive
insane.
scooters, like double front flips,
Crazy.
triple backflip, tail whips.
Yeah.
They do crazy stuff, but you're still kind of a dork in the eyes of the extreme sports world, I think.
I think you get respect by the if you do some crazy stuff at a skate park, no matter what you are, a biker, scooter, rollerblader, you're gonna get respect.
Yeah, I guess.
If I remember doing some crazy stuff and people would like clap.
I think on
"Oh, yeah,
Travis
baby, respect.
Pastrana's Nitro Circus show, like that he sells stadiums out for. I think they have scooter guys on the mega ramp, like in front of arenas.
Yeah, I think scooter. You just kind of look a little funky
like
on there.
like a child. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Max Houston, episode number 4, I believe. He was here last night doing an ego lift. Just him. Put him through hell with the weight vest.
Did he barf?
Didn't barf. This time. He mentioned that at Salt Creek Golf Course that you can rent, which is like $300 to golf there. You could rent this little skateboard scooter thing that you drive instead of a golf cart. You're driving on an electric skateboard, like what mall cops use.
Yeah.
It's like you're that. It's like you're doing that.
And you hook your clubs up on the back?
Clubs up, and that your clubs are like the thing you're kind of driving it with. You're skating around everywhere.
That's
kind of trippy.
Yeah, I think a golf cart's still more fun.
How are you supposed to pound 10 beers and drive that little
Yeah,
thing?
Exactly.
Did
he do it?
I can't remember if he's.
Max would be the guy to hop on there for sure.
I'm sure he has done that before. I guess we have one more topic because I'm getting pretty hungry and I have to kind of number 2
and a half.
And you have your child
inside,
but I figure I wanted to get into what you thought about Dan Bongiorno Pizza and Cash Patel Tendon, their takes on the Epstein files.
Dan Bongiorno Pizza and Cash Patel Tendon. Yeah, I didn't see much of it, but it seems like they both got a talking to. Maybe it's to protect intelligence. Maybe it was, fear-based talking to. I don't know, but Dan Bongiorno, I don't know much about that guy. He was like a Fox News guy, right?
After his career as a 20-year Secret Service
agent. Okay.
And
then he's on Fox News, and now he's what? In the cabinet? Secretary of something?
We should look that up.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, anyways, because one of the things I saw was a video of him maybe on his own podcast or something where he's talking to a camera, obviously before he had a role in government, where he's just going off about the cameras happen to just turn off at the right time. And, the bed sheets there, they're like paper. They're made like paper and they can't support. He's basically saying there's no way this guy killed himself.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to him on the Senate floor. And he was like, definitely a suicide. No reason to think otherwise.
He's the deputy director of the FBI.
Oh, I thought that was Patella Tendon.
Patella Tendon is the FBI director.
So there's a deputy director and then a director. So it's like Batman and Robin.
I guess. It's like Batman and Robin.
Well, yeah, he just totally flipped. And
same with Cash.
And same with Cash Patel. Bongiorno said after being showed all the classified information that he previously didn't know, he now determines this. But the guy, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
the guy did not kill himself.
You seen the videos of the body language experts on both of them?
Breaking down Bongiorno Pizza?
And how when they... going back to where they look and talk confidently and what they look like, and then when they ask that question, how they immediately change.
Yeah.
And I could tell that when I watch a lot of the CIA guys that go on all the main podcasts. Their main thing is talk about how do you know when someone's lying? You just listen to them and you wait till they change their tune.
Yeah.
And we learned that even in SEER.
Darty eye contact.
Yeah, if you're gonna answer a question, doesn't matter how you answer it, it's how long it takes for you to answer it. So if you want to be great, every time you ask me something,
if you're lying, you'll
2 seconds
tell go into way too much information about it.
Yeah, but it's like, ask me what my favorite color is.
What's your favorite color?
Red. Ask me another thing.
Who killed Jeffrey Epstein?
And it's the amount of time it takes. So if you're always on beat, like every 2 seconds, I'm going to answer. Every 5 seconds. Then it's, you don't look so... And when these CIA guys, they're asked all these questions, and then they're asked about something big, they're doing the thing they're telling you to look out for. They change their beat. They change how they answer. They take a while to answer it, and it's like, you guys are literally lying.
And Patella Tendon
I'm doing the things you're telling me to do.
Patella Tendon promised he was going to release all the files, and nothing's come out. And
it's probably. I think it's just we're. I don't know.
I think there's too many high-profile names.
We're in there. I think the CIA is just too tied into it with Mossad's, us. I think we're just so interwebbed and tied in. It's just like you can't give it away because it would be giving away
way too many
tip-top secret stuff.
Yeah.
How we did it, how we got in there, who's compromised from what other countries, and who do we not? What countries do we not want to have know about this?
And you think they just took down Prince Andrew just to like make a statement?
They needed someone to take down.
Yeah.
And they're going to give some names, but there's probably too many people. To take down, and they're maybe dealing with them accordingly or not.
They slammed poor, rest in paradise, Stephen Hawking. He got he got slammed for being out there. But now we know that island, it at least meets ADA handicap requirements.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I wish it is a bummer.
And you know who else is on flight logs, which is funny?
RFK?
No, I think maybe.
He's on.
But he comes out.
Says it, yeah.
He says, but then again, sketchy still. No. From Jackie Chan.
From Body Wants to
Jackie. What's the Jackie Chan and Chris
Tucker?
Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker's
on there.
He was out there.
Damn.
I know.
That'd be a bummer if we, like, one of our core friends that we've, all been growing up and are in the forum, like, so one of them comes out as like they've been doing this crazy
out on
bad
Little
thing,
St. James, and
then people could say like, well, you've been in a group chat with them for freaking 15 years.
Yeah, I think Chris Tucker was just there for a fun. I mean, who knows? But
yeah. Anyway, that was I think that's a pretty good one to end on, huh?
Yeah, that was our first episode minus Jopher the Gopher.
Yeah, minus Jopher the Gopher. Let us know what you thought. If you guys want to see Jopher the Gopher again, just kind of
let us know in the comments.
Let us know.
We'll see you guys later.